I think we've been getting into the routine of thinking we're gonna do a podcast and then just get loads of more podcasts back out for our fans. But I looked again, and I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since we did the last one. Now
it's been 2.5 weeks.
It was a day that football died. Like I thought, I didn't think it was coming back from that, but apparently football's still going. So
football had died.
It's not as if loads has been going on. It's not as if loads has been going on, like sackings, riots, protests. Not much has happened really.
Well,
it's been pretty fucking quiet on the old football front, to be fair. Yeah, nothing much going on.
PSG looked like they were going to win the Champions League by default. Literally a few days after we did the last podcast, but obviously a lot has changed. We can't really.
It's gone from that to Villa Park offering their services as in hosting the Champions League final. So who would have thought that would be the situation today?
Yeah, absolutely mental.
Do they want to have a Champions League final at Villa Park though? Wouldn't they? If they're going to do it somewhere, would they want to do it somewhere like, I don't know, let's say Wembley, for example?
Decent ground.
Yeah, decent ground. No offense to Villa, of course.
Spurs Stadium would be a shout, wouldn't it?
But
that's a good
I still think Villa Park has the media facilities to accommodate all the journalists. And but they haven't got what's required to cover the Champions League final.
They haven't got cup holders in the toilets.
They've got the reverse the reverse fucking pulling.
I don't understand what they wouldn't have because
I'm just thinking from a media perspective, like journalists, the press rooms, all the camera positions. I don't think they're
the FA Cup. They used to host the FA Cup semi-final and they used to host England games. There's also, I don't know if I'm just being stupid, but surely there won't be as many fans or
10,000, I think.
There won't be as. Surely there's going to be a lot more room for people.
I think it should be in the UK. I mean, it makes sense because it saves everyone traveling to Turkey, from both sides of fans. I'm sure that UK government will appreciate that as well. But I just don't think Villa Park is the one.
If you're listening now and you're like, why should it be in England? Obviously, Man City and Chelsea are the two teams playing in the Champions League final. Man City beat PSG this week. Chelsea beat Real Madrid this week. All English final. For the first time in a huge 2 years, I think. 2 years since the last one.
Second one in 3 years, it says now.
Up the English.
It's quite evident that English football is sort of just dominant at the moment. The big boys, Juve, Real, Barca. Obviously, Bayern are still there. They won it last Champions League, but the other three, they've gone so bad, haven't they? They're not competitive at all.
It's weird because English clubs were in a proper a real decline as well. I think in the mid tens or towards the end, there wasn't been English teams for the final for maybe 4 or 5 years or. So now it's sort of flipped again. I would say that this year is a little bit different, and I'm saying that because I don't want to give Man City any fucking credit. So I'm finding excuses, but it's a little bit different with COVID. I think is why the bigger European clubs haven't been able to improve and probably assert that dominance. But
they've been on the decline anyway. But yeah, that's definitely doesn't help what their situation is.
I actually hope Chelsea win it, man. I can't be asked for City to win it. I don't think anyone would care if City win it.
It'd be funny if City don't win it. Have to spend all this money.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
What's he done? He spent $1 billion, or however much it is.
I mean, and obviously Chelsea beat them in the semi-final recently, didn't they, of the FA Cup? So
in each other this weekend as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
It's a preview this weekend for the Champions League final. That'd be nice.
Some mind games going on, 100%.
But the mind fuck some people I
think it's weird, isn't it? Because I feel for both clubs, obviously City look like they're going to win the league, won the Carling Cup. Chelsea could win the FA Cup, could get fourth.
That'd be a mad season.
It'll be a case now where when they play the final, it will make the difference between it being a good season for either club or being an amazing season. Even for Chelsea, it won't be the treble, but it will be. To turn it around from when Lampard got sacked, it would be an amazing season for them.
Even if they just got top 4 and won the FA Cup, that'd still be an unbelievable season. Check the Champions League in there. That's ridiculous.
It's just good. I mean, you don't look. They're a big club. They won't be bothered about getting. They will be bothered about getting to a final. But even now, it's been a massive turnaround, and But if they manage to win the Champions League, it'll be so Chelsea as well. Like I know when he got appointed, everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to come and win it," and like they've been so good.
I think I like Tuchel, mind. I like him. I do like him.
He was giving off Klopp vibes, wasn't he? At the end of the game, he was like hugging all his players. He's sort of passionate on the side.
Apparently,
I to it a bit.
Yeah, I read an article earlier, and apparently he's really like mixed up the training system at Chelsea. So like they've got him like purposely playing on slippery surfaces, so like they stay in their feet more. And with the wingers and stuff and the fullbacks, he makes them play with tennis balls in both hands, so they're not allowed to grab onto other players. So all they do then is just run around, and it's just little things like that. And
That's
some mad coaching techniques in it. But imagine like Ben Chilwell's like,
slipping in.
What the hell's going on here?
Fairy liquid all over the pitch.
But he's on the pitch. He's like, yes. But obviously, you can see the difference that Tuchel's made, and I rate him. I hate Chelsea, but I hate City more, so that's why I'm backing Chelsea.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same. I don't know though. Do you know what? I actually think I hate Chelsea more. Like if it's like a weekend game, I would rather Chelsea lose. But when it terms of this season, Pep. I don't rate Pep. That's probably because I got my fucking Mourinho tattoo, but I just don't like Pep. So I just really don't want him to win it with City.
I think it's quite big as well that basically one of Chelsea's main mans is Mason Mount, and one of City's main mans is Phil Foden, and they're both going to be starting the final. But I think it's sort of safe to say, and that's big. Just before the Euros as well, bit of cup competition. One of the the biggest competition in sort of world football, really. One of them. That's going to be good for England.
I think Foden's clear amount though.
Oh yeah. I think everyone.
I think everyone apart from Chelsea fans. Mount has been unreal recently. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's been really performing. I think. I don't know. For me, Mount is the engineer at the moment. Phil Foden, but they're both just class players. I mean, but I think
we're in danger.
Definitely better form.
We're in danger of this podcast becoming the Phil Foden podcast. I think because I think we've talked about him so many times. He's been that good this season. I know he's been that good, but he's just different. He's just different to the other English players, and we all know why. It's just engraved in him. But it's class to see, and like as well as not just like you've had English players play for like the big clubs, and like you could say Sterling's there, and he's like, I know Pasha's opinion on Sterling, but he's like part of the team. But Foden's actually like one of the match winners against the top elite European clubs. Like he's performing at such a high level.
Yeah.
It was really impressive, obviously, to went to score 3 goals in both those games with Mahrez. Mahrez playing unbelievable. And it's bizarre to see that he doesn't start most games in the Prem. And then when he does start, he fucking scores. It's just unreal why Pep doesn't play more.
Mahrez got that hunger, he looks like. Obviously, sometimes you don't really see it in the Prem, maybe because he's won the Prem already with Leicester. Sometimes he just kind of drifts. But in the Champions League, he seemed proper amped up for it. Like he wants to get that Champions League trophy, add that to the collection.
As soon as those gloves goes on, like
and game on. And he's been absolutely skinning players as well, like little body feints and making players look stupid. He's on some red hot form, man.
Yeah, I just realised since the last time he's done a podcast, Mourinho's been sacked and reappointed at Roma.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna talk about him at the end of the last podcast, but because of the Super League, we just talked so much and we wrapped it up, and we're like, we'll talk about his sacking from Tottenham in the next one, and now he's already moved on.
I know.
You know what was funny? When I read that he's got the Roma job, I was like, no. Second, I thought he was from now. I was like, oh no, United gonna have to play him in the second leg. Mourinho does a fucking masterclass, wins 5-0. I was like, oh no.
I guarantee if that leg was still alive, he would be managing. Like if it was like 2-2 after the first leg, he'd be there. He'd be manager this season. There's no doubt in my mind. But
do you reckon? Sorry, Ted.
No, but there's just like I just know that he'd go there and he'd try and shit out, and then do you know what I mean? If he just got sacked by Tottenham, appointed Roma 2 weeks later, knocks Man United out, wins the Europa League, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think he just
sounds like a wet dream of yours. That
I was going to say when we do our first predictions next season of who's going to win the league, Ted's like Roma. They're winning the Premier League. Roma.
It's a good fit though. I think a lot of people thought he was going Italian league just because it's slower, it's defensive, more tactile, tactical even. And I think he will do well there. He's definitely going to buy Matic off us, isn't he? He's definitely going to buy Matic off United. He's going to make some weird signings, I reckon, but I think it'd be effective over there.
He's done the business over there before, and he's proven. He's won the league.
Into
won
London,
won a Champions League, of course. And I think it's a really good move for him.
I'm not going to pretend I know loads about the Italian league. I know a little bit. I think I'll probably going to try and know. I'll be checking the Italian league results every weekend now to see how Roma do.
I already know you've ordered your Roma top. You've already ordered your Roma top. Be honest.
No, I haven't, mate, because I'm waiting for the next season's one.
With Mourinho number 3 on the back.
Probably.
Jose number 1.
But I think obviously it's Inter have won the league this year. The rumours of Conte leaving and like Inter having to sell a lot of their players. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to play out. And also, I just can't wait for the hope, not next season because Roma won't qualify for Europe, but when he starts drawing against United or Chelsea, probably not Tottenham, but whoever in the European in a couple of seasons' time, I just can't wait for it.
If he lasts that long.
Yeah, I was going to say, will he last a couple of seasons? Like, what did he do, Spurs? 2 years?
Well, that's the thing. Have you seen, like, I know Mourinho, he's got, like, he won't be there forever, but, like, Roma are, like, acting like they've won the lottery. Like, they're so, like, ecstatic. They love him. So I think, and they very similar to Tottenham. I know Tottenham got rid of him, but they're, like, 7th now. They haven't won a trophy since 2008. So, like, it's not like he has to go and win the league to be a success there.
There's loads of memes, isn't there, of like Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan in training. And then they just look to the door and Jose comes in. They're like, for fuck's sake. So he's pretty sell some of them. I think you like Chris Smalling there, though. Smaldini, that's what they'd be calling him, haven't they?
Yeah. He has been doing bits there, to be fair, apart from the first leg against us.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I think it's a good appointment for him. Do I mean, like, I didn't think it would be worth him going to another really high-profile club. I think that's probably the perfect level, I think, for him to... Because his last 2 or 3 appointments haven't really gone to plan, I don't think.
He's not coming back to Prem, I don't think.
No, I mean, yeah, everyone says he won the Super... the Super League, fucking hell. He won the Europa League with us and got a second, which is pretty much what it looks like exactly what we're going to do this season. And we're, like, raving about it in a way. But like, I feel like
let's clip that. Let's clip that for like in a month's time
when Arsenal beat us 1-0
and Leicester catch you. No, I'm missing, but carry on though. Sorry,
but I feel like obviously he did no good at Tottenham. I don't think at all. Like even just like the kind of football they were playing. I think Roma have obviously room for like development. Again, I don't know that much about them, but it seems like in terms of level of club that's probably the right level to go down to. I think.
I don't want to go too into the Tottenham. I don't know. I could go into the Tottenham thing, but I think it seems like old news now. But
it's past
he should. He I don't think he was given anywhere near enough time. And I think
I don't think so either.
It's that he took over and they were 8th or 9th when. No, I think they were like even 13th or 12th when they took over. I know he went completely off the boil. They're now obviously not been the best in the league. They had the final. They got in before the final. I just think...
I think he must have lost the dressing room. That's the only reason. Either that or it somehow worked out financially cheaper for Levy to sack him while he was in a lower position. It must have been one of the two.
They said with the Conte sacking, they said there were similarities where like Conte had won the league and then he got him 4th the next season and then he got sacked and he done him out of court for like this unfair dismissal. And like if Mourinho had won the Carling Cup and come like, let's say they went off the ball and came 10th, but he'd won the Carling Cup, Tottenham, if they sacked him, Mourinho would have been able to just claimed all the money because they won the cup. So I do think something like that's probably happened.
This talk about Conte coming to Spurs, I know. I just want to go on a brief. I can't see that happening.
No,
I think that's a match made in heaven. I do.
I don't.
I can just see him there. And I think he would do bits.
He could do it into. He's got Harry Kane who could be his Lukaku sort of thing, could he? And
if that happens, I'm getting back online, finding a cheap Tottenham top because I love Conte as well.
Yeah, but he's boxed off as well. He used to have proper rows with Jose on the sideline when he was at Chelsea and Jose was at United. I remember him like cheering on the fans when we lost like 3-0, and Jose is like, "You could cheer at 1-0, but not 3. That's that's taking the piss." And Conte just looks like a nutter with his fake hair. Looks like an absolute crazy bastard.
I think he'd do bits.
he tried to have a punch up with someone, didn't he, for touching his hair? I can't think who it was now. On the sideline. Someone
I think it was his missus, wasn't it?
Yeah. Touched his hair. He was fucking going nuts. He's getting held back. Like, oh, brilliant. I have to find the clip and send it to you. Yeah, it's unreal.
Because that's one of the reasons why I'd love him to go to Tottenham, but also in terms of now, I'm going to be checking the Italy league scores. I want to wait for Inter Roma to see like what they do to each other on the sideline. But there was a comment the other day. I think Conte was said he's glad to see him joining the Italian league. I mean,
it's nothing but
respect, say that. Yeah, they said they've sort of buried the hatchet on what happened before. But,
I mean, it's these type of managers that brings more money into the league. You know, we're already talking about we might watch some of the Italian league now. We'd never do that if Jose wasn't there. So he still brings a big package to each club he goes to. You know, more TV rights out, whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Be interesting to see where he goes. But yeah, it's almost at the stage now where he's got to do a good job there, or an okay job, I think, or I don't know where he'd go after.
Do you think
he'd pick up another fat paycheck from getting fired, and then he'll go Porto.
Porto still love him. Yeah,
the Portugal national job, like that will happen, whether that's in 5 or 15. Like that's gonna happen at some point. I can see him going MLS, and I can see him going like into Miami. Beckham just paying him a load, like in like a few years, like that's something like that.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't do, slightly going back, is I wanted to get a prediction from everyone, like who they actually think is going to win the Champions League final.
And the score, I think we should
go. I mean, that depends, because if they're playing in Turkey or Villa, the size of the pitches.
It's still going to be Turkey, 100%. They're not going to swap it now.
Yeah, it's going to Turkey.
Even though the idea of it going to these different places across Europe is to boost, fucking tourism and stuff like that. It'll still put it there, because they probably imagine the amount of TV rights that stadium will lose out on just by not having it in Istanbul. So they'll be missing out on a massive paycheck in Istanbul just so we can have it over in England. It'll never happen.
The argument with that, though, is that they're in a lockdown right now, Turkey, and like if they maybe didn't give it to Turkey this year and said you can have it next year, they might actually be able to like sell the tickets and make a lot more money hospitality wise.
Yeah, have they chosen next year already, or?
Pardon?
When did they actually? I can't remember when they actually choose where it's going to go. Yeah, when they choose the venue.
They probably have already chosen next year, which is they probably chosen the next 2 years, which is a problem. But so in terms of predictions, I'll go first. It's definitely a game which City either win comfortably or Chelsea win. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. It's going to be the score and the win. Nath, you go next.
I'm going to go for... I think Man City are going to edge it, win their first run. I think it's going to be a shit game. I think it's going to be 1-0 Man City. I hope it's not. I hope it's a great game, to be honest, but we'll see.
I'm going 1-1 and Chelsea win on pens.
Mahrez is a bit crap at pens, isn't he?
I reckon. Just because I want to see that as well. I would love that.
Well, to go to pens.
Yeah, like City, like a couple of penalties away from winning it. And
then they break their arms.
And then Mendy is like, fuck off. No way.
He's fucking out the stadium.
Yeah.
De Bruyne slipping.
Get out.
Do you know what?
It's like Frank Lampard crying in the rain.
Mendy versus Mendy on the 7th penalty.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be 0-0 extra time. City win it. No pens, just in extra time.
If that's the case, I'm not watching that.
It sounds awful.
Neither of them concede goals. Neither of them concede hardly any goals. City are not even scoring that many lately. I know they scored a couple against PSG, but PSG were throwing the kitchen sink at them, weren't they? And Chelsea, man, how many chances did they flop last night against Real Madrid? I thought that was going to bite them in the ass. So I reckon it's going to be 0-0, 90 minutes. City's Aguero 1-0 in the extra time.
That
Aguero!
I can see that happening. Because he said when he signed in, he said, I'm not leaving until City win the Champions League. And how poetic would it be? I mean, if it does happen, then fair play to the guy. Like, I mean, but
Pep chucked him on against PSG as well, get him some minutes. I reckon, yeah, Aguero might be.
Sorry, he's open talks with Barca, hasn't he?
Yeah,
that came out.
I reckon Aguero could play a big, extra, super sub last minute, brings him on. He just finds a pocket of space in a box and bangs one in. That could be huge.
Just a quick side note: Bailly and Van de Beek are starting tonight.
Are they?
Yeah.
Look at that. We won about Champions League final, Jack. Like,
always bring it back.
Jack's like, we just signed a youngster from Brazil. I think
we should probably talk about the protest and the Liverpool game being cancelled to finish up on, because I think that's a massive thing to happen.
I hope
it was mental. I couldn't believe it.
3 points.
It's not. We're already playing you next weekend. There'll be no deduction.
Tuesday.
But there's talk that there's going to be another protest, and they're not going to let that go ahead.
Yeah,
it's a knock-on effect from the Super League, because the Glazers were the front runners. Do you know what I mean? It's the people didn't like the Glazers anyway, and this is just the final nail in the coffin. And you get like a lot of other fans of other clubs saying, "Oh yeah, but they've spent a lot of money on transfers and that." I don't think you could talk about other clubs' owners when they've taken like £2 billion out of United. The club's still in debt, and he's got a fucking terrible Barnet as well.
That's fucking
it's full nonce vibes, isn't it? Like super nonce.
That's enough for people to riot in my book.
No, I mean, I fully back it. Like, I think it was like, Arsenal, they had the whole Kroenke out thing, and I don't think that's just not going to do anything, really. I don't think that will make the owners listen.
I think it's closer because they actually got a bidder, haven't they?
Yeah,
but that's nothing. Like, Kroenke's still, I'm not selling. I ain't doing it. It's just that the Spotify owner was just like, obviously saw an opportunity, but that's not Kroenke admitting that he should sell up, which is what the United fans are trying to get the Glazers to do by making a point, being like, we do not want you here, and we're going to stop the biggest game in English football from happening because you're still here and because the actions in the Super League. Like, that's how you make the owners listen, I think. And obviously there's I think, there's a bit of violence, which obviously shouldn't have happened, but I think the impact of having the biggest game in English football cancelled is a massive thing. And I think I fully back it again. Keep doing it. Do you know what I mean? Keep doing it. Keep the Glazers losing money, because I think that'll have a knock-on effect with the rest of the clubs. As soon as if the Glazers give in and the other clubs see that that's happened, then obviously their fans might think, well, we've got to do the same. Do you know what I mean?
I really hope it's possible, but the only way the Glazers sell is if you hurt them in the pockets. And one thing that United fans have been doing, I don't know if it's TeamViewer, the new sponsor coming next season.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's them, but they've been leaving bad reviews on sponsors' Google accounts. I don't know what the sponsor is, but it's gone from like a 5 to a 1. And that's something that can honestly hurt them in the pocket. I feel like United fans will end up giving up because we'll sign a Sancho in the summer or something, so it will be sort of forgotten about. But for them to sell when they could easily keep on earning loads of money and then sell the club for double the amount in like 10 years, I think they're not going to do it.
I think the problem is, I think the protests were a good thing and they should happen, but the issue is when, like, I think a couple of people might have been severely injured. There
was one policeman, you got like a cut under the eye, I think.
But wasn't there like life-threatening injuries? That's what Ollie said. And I don't know, like, if that's the case, I think that's when the issues come. Like, I'm fully for the protests, and I think it's good that they managed to get the game cancelled. I think it's not just on Man United fan. I don't know. It's hard because I know the United fans want them out, but I think it's, you saw the energy from Chelsea before. I think other fans need to really show their displeasure at what happened and make sure it doesn't happen again. So maybe not jumping into the stadium, but like the stuff that you said, Pash, with regards, like the sponsors, affect the other sponsors at the clubs as well, just because, like, to make it clear that you can't do it again. But I think that the line is it's a tough line when I bet 95% of the people that protested and went into the stadium, maybe that's been a bit high, but the majority of them were doing it because they hate the Glazers and they want to get them out, and they might have supported United for years or the whole of their lives. And there's a small percentage of them who just want to get like on Instagram and like.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just want to be a hooligan, don't they?
Yeah.
They don't even. They probably don't even
Exactly.
understand what the reason of the protest is. They're just there to launch a bottle at someone,
which is always going to be the case.
And I was just about to say, you get that in every club, even the smaller clubs. So I mean, you're going to have someone there with the wrong intentions, and you can't take their actions
and pin it on.
Yeah, I mean, as like the message that the rest of the fans are trying to get across, because it's not like you're always going to have a dickhead. So I mean, like you're always going to.
Do you know what I find proper shady? And it's for obvious reasons, but like when the Super League was coming out, and obviously Sky and that, they were like, we need to stop this. This is outrageous. They can't do this, obviously, because they're going to be losing money. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be losing money from the Premier League. As soon as the Super League's gone, and these protesters are protesting against the owners who are trying to push the Super League, Sky just don't care anymore because the Super League's gone. And they're like, look at them protesting down there, hooligans, when just because they're cushy now. And I think Jamie Carragher touched on it. Like when fans used to protest back in the day, it'd kick off a bit and then it would spoil the whole party. The media would just say they're all hooligans, they just want to fight, etc. And it sort of the cause would get lost. And I think that's what might happen. So it has to be peaceful protests if it sort of fears going to continue, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ideally, with obviously best case scenario for you guys, if they go out, what happens with the new owners? You know, like they're going to be rich as well. Do you think it's going to be some problems in future? Is the grass going to be greener with like new owners?
Well, I mean, I don't think it can get much worse. To be honest, that's one way to look at it.
By billionaire owners, though, isn't it?
Like the spot of like Daniel Elk, he was saying he's been a lifelong Arsenal fan. He wants to bring the fans back into the club.
Like that, yeah,
you just want someone with a similar attitude. That's all you want, is to put the fans first and keep the game as it is, and not rinse it into this money-making tree. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not what the fans.
Just cash cows, isn't it?
You want another billionaire who cares about the team and cares about the sport.
You just want people who know football, don't you?
Yeah.
You want people. I know the City owners. They just wanted Man City to be the best, more to promote. Is it Abu Dhabi? Is it? Yeah. They wanted to put them on a map a bit more. But their whole thing is that we want to be the best. We want to win everything. Where Glazers is just like, we just want to earn as much revenue as possible.
Yeah, just money, not goals really. It's like it's another quote from I think it's the CEO of Bayern. I think it's CEO is what they call it. And he was saying, you know, like we could charge, like say they charge like £104 for a season ticket, we'll say. But they said we could charge £304, which will earn us much more money and stuff like that. But it has a massive effect on the fans, the ones who actually come to all the games. So he said they're not interested in making more money. They're interested about like preserving the game. And as he said, that's the difference between like Germany and England. They care a lot more about the fans because the fans keep the team going, rather than actually just get every penny out of them.
Yeah, that's why it's important to get this 50+1 rule. There was a petition, it got to over 100,000 signatures. Obviously, I know petitions don't always sort of go ahead and actually get taken into sort of the House of Parliament. But
I don't think that will ever come into football, unfortunately.
Should we get a link somewhere here, and then just like everyone go sign it if you listen to this.
I just think there needs to be some regulation as to how these clubs.
And I think there will. Because the government can lose so much money if there's Super League. You know, they earn so much money from the Premier League, etc. So I think something will come in.
Mad.
Yeah, my worries is it's a little bit too late to bring that rule in now, because I think it's going to be hard to get owners already at the club to sign it, and I don't know if legally you can make an owner.
If they own it already, yeah.
You can't just make them sign something now. They've owned the club for a few years.
You can if you threaten them with violence.
But yeah, basically the moral is football's fucked. And next year we're going to all watch Serie A. That's what we agreed, yeah?
Yeah.
Could go Bundesliga? It sounded like they care more about the fans over there.
We tried watching the Bundesliga last year, and we were all buzzing for it.
The first weekend was brilliant, to be fair, but it got old pretty quick.
I know.
It's very slow football.
I've never been so excited for Wolfsburg against Schalke in my life.
If it wasn't for Haaland, it would have been awful. That was the only entertaining bit, was seeing him.
I remember it as well with no fans, and I think I was watching it without the edited fan noise, and it was just like,
it was eerie.
Oh my god!
It was quite good watching Bayern pump like fucking Hertha Berlin and stuff like that, 5-1. That was quite fun. Just pure goal fest, but yeah, it's not as fast as the English game.
Well, hopefully it won't be another 2.5 weeks until we do another one, eh, boys?
Yeah, I was going to wrap it and say, well, we're gonna get consistent now and release loads, but we're not going to jinx it. So we'll just, whenever we do the next one, whether that's in 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months, we'll be there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I always do the line, but he never puts it under me as I do it. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, like us on the Spotify, share, follow us. I'm struggling to find the words for the right social media, but yeah, just do all of that. Listen to the Top 4 podcast, arguably the best football podcast in the world. Boys, always a pleasure. We'll see you soon.